Peace, family. Welcome to Black Star TV. We black at you with another episode. Today, I want to talk about reparations and get into N'Cobra, NAARC, and this dude from the Grio. I think his name is Michael Harriot, and I want to show y'all a debate with him between him and Marcel Dixon. Now, reparations is becoming a national topic and a local topic, and due to the grassroots pushing this really heavy. It's becoming big. So they just passed a bill and I also want to talk about HR 40. They just passed a bill in California that made reparations been lineage-based, but you have some Black people who being pushed by white supremacy to undermine the efforts and trying to get this race-based so that other races can be included on our slavery reparations, because this is for slavery. This isn't just for Jim Crow and other things. Well, it's going to include that a little bit, but the other races are trying to get in based off them being affected by white supremacy and systematic racism. But this is not what this reparations claim is about. It's about the descendants of slaves and the people who built America, which was, the FBA, Foundational Black Americans. So today I'm going to let me get into share my screen, and we're going to get into this real quick. So I want to start off by showing y'all N'Cobra and what these people are about. So N'Cobra is a Democratic shield reparations committee who are trying to push race-based reparations. This is why they keep using the word African American, Blacks, and colored people and all this, because they're trying to get this done for other races as well. So as you can see, their mission, and I believe that they were, and that's funny too, because they was founded in 1987, and you can see that they haven't done anything. Again, the Black Roots organizations on the ground were the ones pushing for this reparations to be on the national stage right now. And these people been around since September 26, 1987, and we never was hearing anything about reparations until like the past few years. So it says our mission, the mission of the National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations in America, N'Cobra, is to win full reparations for Black African descendants residing in the United States and its territories for the genocidal war against Africans that created the transatlantic slave trade, chattel slavery, Jim Crow, and chattel slavery's continues vestige, the mafia, I don't know what that is. To that end, N'Cobra shall organize and mobilize all strata of these Black communities into an effective mass-based reparations movement. N'Cobra shall also serve as a coordinating body for the reparation efforts in the United States. Further through its leadership role in the reparations movement within the United States and its territories, N'Cobra recognized reparations as just a demand for all African peoples and shall join with others in building the international reparations movement. That was the key point right there. I could have skipped all that other stuff, but that was the key point right there. N'Cobra recognizes reparations is a just demand for all African people. It's not, though. It's not. This is for descendants of enslaved Africans, and foundational Black Americans, because only 5% of the boats that was coming from Africa actually landed in the United States. The others landed in Central America and in the Caribbeans. They try to make it seem like it was so many people. It was already Black people. It says the transatlantic slave trade, chattel slavery, Jim Crow. See what I'm saying? They use that term, but then when they get to the bottom, they try to make it for all African people and shall join with others. Who's the others? Who's the other people? Excuse me. So that's NAARC. And again, they're a democratic shield. And anytime you see NAARC, you want to watch out for these people. Definitely want to watch out for these people because they do not have our best interest at heart, and they are trying to get others in on our reparations committee. The other people is called NAARC. NAARC. They actually have a 5-point plan or a 10-point plan for reparations. And I wanted to get into this. Their first, I don't like this just based off how this is starting. This is starting off with, we demand a formal apology. You can keep your apology. We want the money. And that's another thing that they really not asking for. They're not asking for these cash payments. Everybody want free school. Like, nah, bro. We don't want no free school. We don't want you to change the curriculum in the education. We don't want any of that. We want cash payments along with land. But all that other stuff, because you give everybody else cash and you want to try to give us all this. I heard the person in the California when they was doing the California thing. I'm gonna play a little piece of it later too. But they was doing that and they talking about giving us trust. Nah, I don't need my money in the trust. I need my money in my pocket. Yeah, I trust myself with my bread. But they talk about a formal apology. Further, the apology should be accompanied by the establishment of permanent MAFA. I don't know what that is. African Holocaust institution charged with providing education on the origins of enslavement. Like, yo, we know what was going on. We don't need no education on anything, bro. We don't need no education on no slavery, any of that. We know y'all was lying about most of it. Who cares? We want the cash, bro. This is a capitalistic society, and we need the cash, bro. Look at this second one. The right of reparations and creations of African knowledge programs. See what I'm saying? All this program stuff and knowledge, like, man, miss me with that. Miss me with that, man. We want the cash. The reparation committee will complement by an African knowledge program similar to the one included in CARICOM Reparations Commission. And CARICOM, that's another thing. See, they trying to add all these different races to our reparations bill. To our reparations claim. Meanwhile, CARICOM is a reparations commission for the Caribbeans. They ain't mentioning us. They not mentioning us in that shit. We don't get no parts of your reparations if y'all get it. In some other African countries, we don't get no parts of your reparations, man. So let me speed this up. 3, the right to land for social and economic development. Now, after centuries of free labor that fueled the commercial and industrial revolutions in the United States, enriched those at the helm of the capital and the finance, and created opportunities and a sense of privilege for Europeans of every socioeconomic strata. Enslaved Africans were emancipated without being granted a material stake in the form of land resources, 40 acres and a mule, to start anew in this hostile land. Moreover, formerly enslaved Africans were excluded from government programs like the Homestead Act, which greatly benefited the poor class. I ain't gonna keep reading that. But see, they want substantial tracts of government, public land in South and other regions of the country transferred to the National Reparations Trust. See what I'm saying? No, we not putting the land in the trust, bro. You gonna give us our acres individually too at that, dog. You ain't giving this shit to some committee and they gonna hold it in the trust where they holding all the bread. Hell no. Hell no. We want our land individually and we want them checks individually. Let me keep it pushing. Social, responsible, entrepreneurial development. I mean, that's cool, but we still want the cash, dog. we still want the cash, bro, because everybody's not going to be an entrepreneur, and everybody's not going to spend their money to start businesses and all that other stuff. And that's another thing too. It don't matter what a person spend their money on. Like old girl said, I'm gonna show her video, the reparation, from a reparationist perspective. Shout out to that sister. But she said the same thing how I feel, man. Listen, bro, if somebody use all their reparations and buy a whole bunch of Jordans, man, that's on them, man. That's the debt that you owe. I can't tell you after I borrow some money from you, I can't now offer you to, instead of giving you the money back, like, man, listen, man, you ain't gonna do nothing but waste the money anyway. Like, nigga, who cares what I spend the money on? Nigga, give me the bread you owe me. You feel what I'm saying? So that's that, man. Resources for the health, wellness, and healing of the Black communities. Here we go with that. Resources for healing the Black communities, bro. Just give us the check. See, all their plan is to give money to organizations so they can waste it. You don't want to specifically give the money to the people. Everything I just named isn't handing cash to individuals. You peep this? Do y'all peep this? Look at this shit, man. And you can get this on reparations, reparationscom.org or whatever. You see the what's the name up there? So all right. Education for community development and empowerment. Again, another BS plan. See, none of this has anything to do with giving us our stuff. Affordable housing for healthy Black communities. And no, we don't want affordable housing. We want land. Because affordable housing is only making us give money to other people who own property, which we know aren't majority Black people, right? The people who own these housings that are affordable are owned by white individuals who some may, right, be the descendants of slave owners. So all you doing is giving our reparations back to them. No, fam. I want to own the housing. I want to own the housing. Give me my bread so I can buy an apartment complex and charge people for affordable housing, man. Y'all is crazy, bro. About what the effects of redlining. See, redlining had to do with not being able to go in certain neighborhoods and buy homes, man. The what they call that, the Housing Act. Buying homes again, buying land, strengthening Black America's information and communication infrastructure. Again, absolutely nothing to do with cash payments. Preserving Black sacred sites and monuments, nothing to do with cash payments. And the last one, repairing the damages of criminal injustice system, nothing to do with cash payments. So again, man, NAARC and N'Cobra, you see what it is. This both is a nothing burger. And in the words of Tariq Nasheed. Then this is CARICOM. CARICOM is the people. That's what I was just saying. They that's who they actually trying to base their reparation commission off of. Again, this is a Caribbean thing. I don't know why they won't load up, but yeah, CARICOM is the Caribbean people reparation committee or task force or whatever you want to call it. And again, they just based their 10-point plan. This 10-point plan I just showed you, they just based their 10-point plan off CARICOM. I can't get to it because it's not really loading up, but that already goes to show you that's a nothing burger as well. And so is this HR 40, which they passed to Congress. HR 40 isn't nothing but the study of reparations. Man, we ain't got nothing to study. What's Dr. Claude Anderson already wrote a book. I'm gonna play him later. He already wrote a book to say to tell you what y'all owe. You know what I'm saying? So look, the U.S. House Resolution 40, HR 40, would establish a federal commission to examine the impacts of the legacy of slavery and recommend proposals provided reparations for redress and repair. No, the bill does not authorize payments. See what I'm saying? No, y'all trying to stay away from giving us cash payments, and we not having it. We not having it, fam. We not having it. We not going with the non-payment, bro. We want payments, cash payments, along with land. So, let me get to this first one, man. I'm gonna do this one right here. So, you had the dude from the Grio. He wrote an article. Let me see if I can get to that real quick. The dude from the Grio wrote an article about race-based reparations. Right? Here it go, right here. I think his name was Michael. See, on why lineage-based reparations is a bad plan. See, you have all these black people who are Michael Harriot. This is him right here. Let me see if I can go to him. What is he gonna do? Michael Harriot. See what I'm saying? You got all these black people on here, and I'm gonna go back and show y'all his plan real quick. He said that it was a bad plan. 10 is based on white history, white math, the entire concept of tying reparations to ancestry is based on white supremacy construct used to demonize welfare queens, social programs, and the MAGA form of racism known as economic anxiety. See, all this stuff, he's trying to base it on race because he wants tethers and these tethers and these immigrants to get in on our reparations. See what I'm saying? Watch this. How about the Haitians and free people of color who lived in Louisiana before America purchased it from France? First of all, there was a very, 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 very few immigrants in the country. A lot of them immigrants didn't even come to the country until about the year 2000 when they really flooded the country. But other than that, it was like less than 1%. It was less than 1% immigrants over here. We ain't trying to hear that. And what's the name bust his bubble with those statistics? The brother, I want to see, what's his name? Let me see something. Marcel Dixon, who is running for Congress, and I feel like y'all should support this brother because so hold on, let me get back to that. Yeah, it excludes actual descendants of enslavement. No, it doesn't. Lineage absolutely includes the people who were slaves. It asks the victims of criminal enterprises to solve the crime. Reparations for African Americans should not be limited to slavery. See, it again in this whole African American thing. That's why we run with the foundational Black Americans, because that links us and ties us to the people who were descendants of slaves. African American does not tie us to slavery. Again, that was a term invented by Jesse Jackson in 1982. Again, I was born in 1982. So what was we being called before 1982 besides nigger? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But like, I knew a white boy that I was locked up with in Oregon. He was born in South Africa. He moved to America, and he used to always joke around, even though he wasn't serious, but you literally can be serious about this. He used to say, yo, I'm African American. He was born in South Africa, and then he moved to America when he was 11 years old. So he was able to say he's African American, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So like, no, that's not a good term. That's why we're going with, Native Black Americans or foundational Black Americans, because that ties you to the descendants of slaves. But reparations, yeah, you get that. Reparations for African Americans should not be limited to slavery. White supremacy does not differentiate between kinds of Black people. Yes, they do. And Black immigrants receiving reparations is economically better for Black communities. No, let me just get into this because the whole basis, I just wanted to show you who this guy was, what his intention was, which was to give immigrants reparations based off from our claim. So I'm gonna let y'all hear him get debated real quick with Marcel. This is going to be very short.
When the first Black people stepped foot in America, and as far as the end date, right? So I think, speaking to Marcel's point, I don't think we can disassociate the country and anti-Blackness and racism from what happened to the descendants of slaves and even Black immigrants. Now, I would agree, and I think most people who study this issue would agree that the comparison between what happened to slaves and immigrants, there's an economic difference, there is a socioeconomic difference between the two, but it doesn't. I don't think that American laws that cause the ongoing discrimination, such as redlining, such as the GI Bill, so differentiated between the two, right? And so I think we let America off the hook if we say, you don't got to worry about that other stuff. And my ultimate point is about the ongoing effect and the end date of slavery. When we talk about, for instance, the GI Bill, right? And the people who fought in World War I and World War II, many of those people were immigrants because that was a way to become an American citizen. So that includes immigrants. When we talk about redlining, right? Even today, Black immigrants are more likely to live in Black neighborhoods than any other population of immigrants, and even more so than second and third and fourth generation Americans going on Black when we look at the economic statistics. And I think that everybody who's looked at the data would agree that immigrants who come to America have it better off because they don't suffer the vestiges of slavery. But what we also see in the data is by the third and fourth generation, for Black immigrants, and not for any other group of immigrants, not for white immigrants, not for Hispanic immigrants. By the third and fourth generation, the children of Black immigrants suffer the same consequences of living in America as everyone else. They are as likely to be incarcerated. They are as likely to live in a red light area. They are as likely to suffer the unequal funding of schools. So what it shows me is that what America does can't be kind of separated. What America does to Black people can't be separated. Now, I would agree with Marcel that, and even with the California bill, that there should be a special consideration for African-American descendants of slaves. And I don't think that anybody would argue that, right? Because the longer you've been here in this country, the more likely you are to have suffered these inequalities that America produces specifically for Black people.
Marcel coming up. Now this is the
Thank you,
brother
Michael.
right here.
Marcel, your thoughts on the question?
So I want to start off asking Michael a question. I know you can't answer right now. The Claims Conference, that is the body that distributes to this day reparations for Jewish people. I'm looking at what they have here. In order for a person to be eligible, it doesn't say you have to have been of Jewish descent living in Europe. It says you have to have proven that you were harmed by the Nazi, you lost property. When America first, at the end of World War II, before reparations were paid to Jewish people, the United States military, they actually already started making Germany, West Germany, pay reparations. Do you know what they did? They made them give back the property to any Jewish person from whose property they've stolen. Now, did they go around and give property to all Jewish people who were probably living in West Germany, but were fortunate enough not to be put in concentration camps? No, they only addressed the people who were harmed. Until this day, the Claims Conference only pays reparations to people who are spouses or who are survivors of the Holocaust, not to all Jews. Likewise with the Japanese. Japanese received reparations, and it was not even, some of them were not even alive at the time. They have passed away by the time reparations were done in the 1980s. But I'm looking at their qualifications right now as we speak. It has to be a Japanese person who was interned. Now, according to the data, 80% of Japanese Americans were interned in internment camps during World War II. But not all of them were. Now, you can believe the reason the Japanese were interned, because America at that time was dealing with a time of yellow panic, when there was pretty much xenophobia towards Asian people. So we can all imagine that there were Japanese people, there were probably even Korean people and Chinese people who were probably dealing with anti-Asian sentiment every single day, right? But those people did not receive reparations. Only the Japanese were interned. You do not get paid reparations because you chose to come to a country whose history you know is anti-Black. Our claim for reparations is not to make white people like Black people. It's not even to solve all the problems in this society. It's to make this country pay the debt that it was supposed to pay and probably would have paid had Abraham Lincoln not been assassinated. Those 40 acres in a mule, they weren't going to be given out to people who were living in Jamaica at the time. They were going to be given to the same people who were emancipated at the end of the Civil War. In Savannah, Georgia, which you know, because I'm in Richmond, South Carolina, I know you know where I am, is only 25 minutes from me. General Sherman met with 20 pastors. When General Sherman asked them, what can we do to right the wrongs that we've done to the Negro? They say, give us the land that we cultivated. Black immigrants that come here are coming to a land that they did not build. They are not the persons who inherit the debt. Let me tell you, I have heirs property in my family, and you probably do too, being that you're from James Island, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. That land was bequeathed to us, right? Well, we still have to pay the taxes on that land. My family has paid tens of thousands of dollars to keep heirs property. We inherit the debt of paying for property from which we cannot get a single dime. Likewise, the United States of America has inherited the debt of paying what they should have paid to our ancestors. What sense does it make that an immigrant whose ancestor was not enslaved here can come here now all of a sudden and say the debt should be paid to them as well? No. If we want to deal with issues that are impacting Black people generally, we can do legislation for that. But reparations here, this is for America to pay its debt that it owes to the group of people for whom they still have not paid, and that is Black Americans of non-immigrant background, no one else.
There it is. You feel me? And that's why I say they push these other Black people to undermine us as a group, because you feel me? They're going to pay him and say, yo, man, go out there and push race-based so we can start giving it to everybody. And at the end of the day, Black people going to get the least amount of money, who supposed to really be getting the majority of the bread. All of the bread, fuck majority of it, all of the bread, excuse me. But yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. So you got to watch these people, man. This is why they done made up all these little reparation committees, which I'm about to show you this other reparation committee. That these are the ones that was doing, shout out, oh yeah, let me do this. Shout out to D Tubman. This was this person's page. Shout out to this sister. I believe it's a sister anyway. Shout out to her because this was her page right here that I got this information from. Or yeah. So here we go, man. These people in Cali with this Cali Reparation Task Force, they are some Democrats. You already see who's speaking right here. At first I thought she was white, but I believe she's Spanish. But that's again, man, they got a Chinese dude on the task force. They got some Jamaican lady on the task force, or she either from Jamaica or some other African country. Like, why are y'all on a task force that involves our reparations, man? Y'all shouldn't be talking at all. This should be all descendants of slaves. This should be all the descendants of slaves. FBA only. FBA only. If something happened to the Spanish people in their country, there would not be one Black person on that task force saying and determining whether y'all get reparations or not. Man, listen to this lady. This is 2 seconds, seriously.
Perspective. your mission and the mission of the commission targets the issue of racial bias in all the domains that have been discussed this morning. And certainly when you think of South Los Angeles, you begin to think immediately about race and ethnicity as the reason for the problems that we've suffered over the generations. Professor Paul Ong from USC suggests that the stigma of inequality in South LA is space related as well as race and ethnicity. And that has impact in housing and employment and in transportation and of course in healthcare in that domain. So I want to suggest to you today that you think not just in terms of the categories, 13 categories or the combined categories that you've been discussing, but that you think about place in terms of a nexus for the suffering that that we have experienced in the state.
Again, no, this reparations ain't for we. This is for lineage-based people who are descendants of slaves. See how everybody keeps trying to come in on our claim? This ain't for you. Why you keep including we like you French? Matter of fact, that's why she keeps saying we, because that's a French word. The French enslaved the Spanish. And shout out to all the Spanish people. We have no issue with you, but you cannot get in on our reparations claim. That is absolutely disrespectful, bro. That is disrespectful to our ancestors and to us in general to try to get in on a claim that you are not part of. If your house burned down and they had $1 million insurance policy, you would get the $1 million insurance policy unless me and my family came in saying, yo, we was living in there. You let me stay there for the night. And now all of a sudden your house burns down a year from now. I'm not staying. I ain't been there in 11 months. And now all of a sudden I'm trying to get a cut and my people's trying to get a cut. My kids trying to get a cut. That take your million all the way to a couple thousand, bro. Come on, dog. You would be like, man, get the hell out of here, dog. You wasn't living here like that, bro. I'll let you stay a couple nights. That's it. None of your stuff was in here when it burnt down neither. So why are you trying to get in on this insurance claim? That's exactly what y'all doing, bro. All that we talk.
Among the Black population and the brown population as well.
Look, she didn't even really want to say brown because you know this ain't got nothing to do with brown people. Y'all trying to insert yourself on our stuff, man. All right, man. Shout out to the reparationist perspective, man. Check her channel. I'll subscribe to her and D Tubman, man, for y'all. Let me use y'all. I'm using y'all platform to for my little. So look, all right, peep game. So now I want to show y'all Joe Biden. I couldn't find this video anywhere on YouTube, so I had to put it on Facebook because I actually got this video from Instagram. But listen to Joe Biden.
Have to wait around.
No, they're not exclusive. No, but they look, they're not mutually exclusive. But I can't believe that whatever it is, the African American community would not support what I'm talking about. In addition to,
I don't think we have to. Let me ask you this. Then. Let me ask you this, so we can move on. We've got to get some phone calls in as well. But let me ask you this then: if in fact a calculation comes to you that you are satisfied with, would you then say, I'm for reparations?
the answer is it would depend on what it was and will it include Native Americans as well.
Will it include Native Americans? Now let's go to the godfather of Powernomics and see what he said. Let's go to the godfather of Powernomics.
Asked me about reparations, and even after the Civil War ended, the Choctaw and Chickasaw was still holding about 12 or 15,000 slaves even after the Civil War ended. The United States government sent in troops saying, you got to get rid of this slavery and set black folk free. And they set up what's called the 1866 Indian Treaties with these 5 civilized tribes, which says that black people in this country must not only turn them loose, they must get benefits. They must get forms of reparations. Going back to your earlier question, you must first of all set them free. 2, you must give them an option, and this is for all black freedmen and all black who lived in the Indian Territory and all black Indians. You must set them free, allow them to have membership in the tribe. You must give them, let them have access to all the resources on the reservation. You must let them also be tax exempt. You must let them have free education. You must also let them be able to give them $150 in cash. You must give them 160 acres of land. And in present day times, those black Indians under the 1866 treaty should be getting, they could also hold gambling casinos. Now, this country has never carried out the full mandates, but yet we're still honoring it for Indians. Right now,
you're still honoring it for Indians. And let me go to the treaty real quick because I actually got it. The 1866 treaty with the Cherokee. Now, what Dr. Claude Anderson was just talking about was Article 4. All the Cherokees and free person who were formerly slaves to any Cherokee and all free Negroes not having been such slaves who reside in the Cherokee Nation prior to June 1st, 1861, and who may within 2 years elect not to reside in the northeast of the Arkansas River and southeast Grand River. But I'm going to go down to the bottom because y'all heard them say 160 acres. The Canadian district is not sufficiently large to allow 186 acres to each person desiring to obtain settlement under the provision of these articles. But you all were supposed to give that 186 acres. You heard? See what I'm saying? So everything he was saying just now was not a lie.
Now, all the benefits that Indians are getting in this country are getting it from the 1866 Indian Treaty because they took up arms against the United States in the Civil War. They wiped out all previous treaties. Now, every year in the White House, we get about 567 white Indian chiefs, which in history they call $5 Indians, because 90% of the people call themselves Indians nowadays are not really Indians. Those are whites passing as Indians because they paid $5 to the Dawes Commission to get their name on the Dawes roll so they can get all these advantages. But every year they get invited to the White House. And every year they got approximately $3.5 billion every year, even that Obama's been in office. They got money into the Federal Indian Bureau. Now, see, if you were to talk about reparations, black folks have been getting all this money all these years too. But they got shut out because the Indians in 1938, they sent a letter to the Department of Bureau of Indian Affairs saying, how do we shut black folk down to make sure they never get any reparations? And that letter floated around in the federal government from about 1938 to about 1941. Then it went to the Secretary for the Department of Interior. And the Department of Interior looked and says, said, how do I come up with a scheme to shut down blacks so they get no reparations in this country? He said, what you do, you Indians come up with a new concept called a quantum blood law, which says that black folk are not entitled to any of the benefits of the 1866 treaty in terms of reparations unless they can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they got 1/4 Indian blood in them. And we make Indian blood sacred like Jesus Christ's blood. And they're
now, again, natives owe us too at the end of the day. So when you hear this racist, and I don't even want to say that word, man, this racist suspected white supremacist, Joe Biden, Jim Crow Joe, when you hear him say, well, I'm only going to give reparations if it includes Native Americans, that's because you're trying to finesse us. You're trying to finesse us, fam. That's the only reason you would say that. Because you just like these other people, that's why they got these people in Cobra and all these people who are actually trying to use other people and other races to get in on our reparations debt. That's why you trying to use these people, because you know, just like affirmative action, when we did the affirmative action thing and you use minorities to get in, a white woman's a minority, any gay person's a minority. So if Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook is gay, I'm not saying he's gay, I'm just saying if he is gay, he can get in on minority based programs. Cause you gay. It ain't say if you gay and you rich. It just says if you gay. In general, they're a minority. White women are minority. Indians, Haitians, everybody, bro. Everybody but white people. You feel what I'm saying? Spanish, Chinese, like, come on, dog. And then when we find out and do the statistics, we find out black people who it was intended for is only getting 2% of the resources anytime they do something for minorities. So this is exactly why they're trying to include, if we do something for Native Americans too. So you're going to do something for Native Americans too. They're going to get the bulk of all the shit, even though they already got reparations already. You're going to give them the bulk of it and then give us the little crumbs. Come on, dog. That's the only reason you even saying that. And he's not stupid. He know he done gave them reparations already. He'll get it every year, just like Dr. Claude Anderson said. And you was the vice president when y'all was passing it off to him. So why you still trying to give them stuff? They got reservations. They got gambling casinos. They tax exempt. They all that, man. Come on, dog. They already got what they need. You feel me? And you purposely doing that just so you can finesse us. Just so you can finesse us, man. Shout out to them, the sister, again, the reparationist perspective, D Tubman for letting me, I use their content and fair use, whatever. But like, you know, man, I just want to show y'all NCOBRA, NAARC, CARICOM. You hear any of these stuff, you already know they are in it to finesse us. And black people, we gotta get on our bike when it comes to reparations. Because, bro, when it came to Black Lives Matter and that fake organization, y'all was posting about that, man. When it comes to reparations, come on, man. Let's get this reparations thing jumping, man. Everybody should be posting about this, bro. They was talking about $350K a check. Come on, dog. Now y'all don't want to post. Now reparate. What's up, man? Y'all gotta get in the game, man. Because you can't just sit back and try to let the grassroots, the people in the grassroots do all the work. And then y'all just sit out there with y'all hand out at the end of the day, man. The more of us that get into this conversation, the faster it will be for us to get some compensation. Feel what I'm saying? So that's all I wanted to say, man. Watch out. Shout out to Marcel Dixon. He running for Congress. I think you guys should support him. Donate to him, whatever you can or whatever. But like, yo, he got our back. He's doing the bidding for us in reparations strictly for us. Anybody else, I guarantee you, they're going to try to add other groups, especially if they back by them Democrats. Now I'm gonna say Marcel is running as a Democrat. But he been calling Joe Biden Jim Crow Joe. Yeah. So he ain't messing with the rest of them. He ain't messing with Cory Booker. He not messing with him. He independent and he's not talking like them. This is somebody we got to support. We got to support the people who got our back for real. Like people like Dr. Claude Anderson, who've been fighting for reparations and wrote Powernomics. Get that book. He wrote Black Labor, White Wealth, which is actually what the people in HR 40 should be studying. Y'all should just read Dr. Claude Anderson book, and that gives you the blueprint to the reparations right there. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm gonna get up out of here, man, because I gotta get going. But shout out to everybody. Please like, share, and subscribe. Definitely hit the subscribe button. Definitely share this, get this out, because yo, man, we got to boost this reparation conversation. And yeah, that's it, man. I'm out of here. Y'all have a good day, good night, wherever you at in the world, and support our reparation claim for us. Because if you trying to get in on our reparation claim, bro, that is so disrespectful. You know what I mean? Listen, if you Spanish, if you Mexican, Spanish, or whatever, bro, y'all gotta holler at France, holler at England, holler at whoever. They did something to y'all and they owe you. But it ain't us. And you can't get in on our shit. You feel what I'm saying? But we are always down for you to get yours from whoever owe you. You feel what I'm saying? And if once we get ours, just like with California, once California passes something and they get theirs, it's going to trickle down to every state. Things start off in California, just like that 3-strike law. Now everybody 3-striking people. That's what I'm saying, man. Get your bread, support us, man. Support my channel, Black Star TV 2.0. This your boy Black Star, and I'm out of here, man. It's over.